like the way you sum up the difference between a tourist and a traveler. Just the difference.
How did I sum it up?
I mean, through the quotes you use also.
Oh, yeah.
But my favorite one wasn't you, it was someone you quoted, but let me say it right. A tourist sees what he has come to see. A traveler sees what he sees. Something along those lines.
There's also a traveler doesn't know where he's going. A tourist doesn't know where he's been.
Yeah.
Which is harsh, but it can be true,
There's one that you wrote. I put all these quotes down that I liked, the ones I liked, but then this was just your writing. And so, let's see if I can find it. Which I liked, about seeing new things, or about the point of travel then is not to evaluate the rightness or wrongness of other cultures. After all, you can stay at home and do that, but rather to better understand them.
Yeah.
Which that's kind of just, I just like that. What are you guys into and why?
Yeah. And I think it's so important because even people in the United States who fancy themselves multiculturally aware can be really judgmental, in a way, and people who think that they're being anti-Western are just sort of being anti-Western in a very Western way. And so I think there's an open-mindedness to travel that gets you past the rhetoric of perception, and you can internalize things. I'm thinking about a lot of the politicized ways that we talk about questioning our Western perspective and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think travel allows you, it's a much more humble way of engaging it, that you're basically...
What do you mean?
What's that?
What do you mean? More humble way of engaging it?
I think like in academic settings, there's entire departments of post-colonial studies that rhetorically look at the sins of the West and try and look at sort of the embedded prejudices with which we evaluate other cultures. And I think that is valid. But there's a point at which that, and we'll use post-colonialism as an example, it becomes so caught up in its own nomenclature and abstractions that it actually carries its own arrogance. It's not. It's just sort of a prescription against a certain way of thinking without investigating that way of thinking.
It's like, this is wrong, now prove why. Instead of going, just look and decide right or wrong.
Yeah, or, there's a lot of, I don't want to pick on post-colonial scholars, but like people will say, well, this is a victim of tourism. Well, like, how do you know? Is it because of the theory, or is there any empirical
proof of that
data to that? And I think sometimes there's this assumption that, again, that people in other countries will be happier if they're being traditional, air quotes, traditional, when in fact you go to a place and you realize you see the monk with the Air Jordans, you see, the guy in Nepal who knows more about Biggie Smalls than you do, and just all this stuff. You just realize you just have a personalized understanding of the world, good and bad.